on inflammation. So the other day, I'm guilty of going to the supermarket, grocery store, and looking at people's baskets. So I'm at the grocery store, and there's an older gentleman, and he's coming up, and he's got his basket with him, and like, he's not moving very well. He looks like his joints are angry with him. So as he's there and he's loading everything out of his basket, I'm just having a little look, and he's got like cheese and deli meats, tomato, milk, peppers, white bread. What else do you have? Biscuits, chips, whatever. Like just nothing that I would say is high nutritional value. And then he also throws on 3 tubes of Voltaren. If you don't know what Voltaren is, it's an arthritic cream. So it helps to reduce pain in the joints. So it's an anti-inflammatory cream, essentially. It's put on the skin, and it helps. So looking at what he was eating, I could see why he had a lot of inflammation in the body. The foods that he was eating promoted inflammation as opposed to reducing inflammation. So over the years, I've learned to keep my mouth shut because people don't appreciate being told. They want to ask why. But my question would have been to him was, how do you know how to control inflammation topically, but you're unaware with the foods that you're eating? So everything in his basket apart from that cream promoted inflammation. And it's funny that he knew how to control it topically, but he was unaware of how food could be playing a role in the inflammation in his body. So for me, the general population need to be made aware of the consequences of the food that they choose to eat on a daily basis and the effects that it can have on the body today, tomorrow, and in the future. So there are certain foods that will increase inflammation in the body, but we're all different. So what might aggravate me might not aggravate you. And that's why we would do something like an elimination diet to see what foods are aggravating for you. Like nightshade families, so potatoes, peppers, tomatoes, they can be aggravating for some people, where white bread, white flour, milk, they can be aggravating for other people. So it just depends on you as the individual, but you need to do the work to figure out what it is that's going to aggravate your system. So what can keep inflammation turned on? So food, obviously. We're exposed to food daily. We're always eating. There's always food coming in, providing the body with energy. So there's always food coming in, and the body's always exposed to that. So food can be one of the ways, or it can be an additive in the food, like a food additive. Is it stress related? So we're going to talk a little bit about leaky gut here. So if it's food or stress related, your gut can become leaky. So let's just take all your fingers and glue them together. So you got 8 fingers side by side, and they're super tight, and nothing can get in between them. So let's say your palm is where your blood system is. So your palms, your blood system's there. If you open up your fingers, what happens is the aggravating item can get through into the bloodstream. If you close the fingers, they can't get in there. So foods or stress can weaken these guys, their tight junctions, and then foreign invaders can end up in your bloodstream. And what happens is your immune system set off, inflammation occurs because your body's like, why is that there? That shouldn't be there. That's a foreign body. It's trying to take over. We've got to get rid of it. So a flag waves up, body produces antibodies, and every time you eat that food or that additive comes into the body, that flag goes off, inflammation, immune system's turned on. And it can be stress related because your digestive system isn't working optimally when you're stressed, and the food that you're trying to digest doesn't get digested properly. It can go rancid, can putrefy, and cause problems within the gut. Ferment. This can produce gas, bloating. There's different symptoms. So leaky gut, you're always looking to heal that gut, to keep those the lining super tight, those junctions tight, so nothing can cross over, so that the alarm system doesn't go off. So is it related to a pathogen or toxin that's in your digestive system that shouldn't be there? It could be from a sprained ankle. So you roll over on your ankle and your ankle becomes inflamed. You ignore it for a couple of days, keep walking on it, and what happens is the original tissue that was damaged is damaged, and the body's working to clean that up, but more tissue in the surrounding area gets damaged because you haven't helped to prevent any more tissue damage, because you haven't taken the weight off it, you haven't compressed it, you haven't iced it. Okay, so another aspect why immune inflammation doesn't turn off with stress is cortisol stays on, and cortisol has a role in inflammation. And then if your body's lacking the nutrients it needs to control inflammation, like a diet high in sugar, low in fiber, low in minerals, and low in omega-3s, this does not help, because you can't turn off inflammation because you don't have the building blocks, the ingredients to turn it off. Okay, so it can be from food, stress, pathogens, or an impact. So problems occur when the inflammatory response does not turn off. Okay, it's unable to turn off, and the immune system becomes overstretched. And then it can turn into like an autoimmune disease where your body starts turning on itself. So as I discussed there, a foreign invader comes in and the body produces an antibody. So that foreign invader can be a protein, it can be part of an egg, it can be meat, cheese, it can be in a food. But the problem is that if your immune system does not turn off this inflammation, your body can then see you as the problem. So your body, your cell becomes the foreign invader, and your body reacts to it. And this would be the basis of some thyroid conditions, arthritis. Your body is attacking itself, and that's what we don't want. So your goal here is always to try and keep inflammation to a minimum. And so that when we do need our immune system, it just kicks in and turns off. So you don't want to overload the immune system. So signs and symptoms of inflammation in your body. So red, aggravated skin like acne or a rash, bloating in your gut, abdominal pain. So this is where we need to start like observing what's going on. If you've got bloating in your gut, is there pain with that bloating, or is it just bloating? Let's take the three major macronutrients. So we've got carbs, fats, and proteins. If you take a slice of bread and you roll it up into a ball and you drop it into a glass of water, what's going to happen? That bread is going to expand and it's going to soak up the water. Okay. Carbohydrates absorb water. What happens when you take an egg and you drop it into water? It's just going to displace the water. It's protein or fat, there's no carbohydrates there. If you take a chicken breast, same thing, drop it into water. It's just going to displace the water. And last but not least, let's take half an avocado, drop it in, displaces the water. So not all bloating is a sign of something wrong in the digestive system. But if you've eaten a lot of carbs, it's going to absorb water and it's going to swell. But if you've got bloating with a lot of pain, then yeah, there's something needs to be investigated. Okay, that's going to be some inflammation throughout your digestive system. If you've got fever, joint pain, arthritis, if you find there's loss of function in a joint, as in you don't want to put your weight through your ankle or your knee or your hip, there's something going on in that joint which would kind of be associated with inflammation. Headaches, chest pain, these can all be related to inflammation. So how to control your inflammation? So there's different ways. Number one, I would suggest keeping your sugar below 30 grams a day. Look to increase your omega-3 intake if that means supplementing with fish oil, so be it, that's fine. Elimination diet, so to determine offending foods. Elimination diet, if you have a reaction to a food, it can be causing bloating and it can be causing pain in the abdomen. If you've been eating these foods for a lot of years, eventually it can kind of get to the joints, hurt the joints, and that's what arthritis, anything like that. So you're looking to take out foods to see if your symptoms improve. So there's 10 major offending foods. So let's say gluten, wheat, dairy, eggs, soy. I've got a full lesson on this on itself. But if you look to take those foods out for 10 days, and then as you introduce them, see how your symptoms are. So as you introduce it, say on the first day back, you decide to eat eggs. And after 48 hours, it's fine. No symptoms, no nothing. Then on the second 48-hour period, you are going to introduce milk. And you find, my digestive system's not happy, my bowels are not happy here. back off, take milk back out, leave it that 48 hours, and then introduce another food. So you're trying to make a list of foods that aggravate and foods that don't aggravate, and stick with eating the ones that are okay and take the ones out that aren't okay. This ideally you do for 12 weeks, and that antibody, that flag that you wave up to say, hey, 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 something's wrong here, that dies off after 12 weeks. So that's why you want to do an elimination diet for 12 weeks. So you start with 10 days, see how everything feels, and then after that, if there's an offending food, you stick and avoid that food for 10 days, for 12 weeks. Stress management, so you're always just looking to reduce stress in the body, help digestion. And then an anti-inflammatory protocol, which would include omega-3, glutamine to help heal the gut, probiotics to help the gut, and then just certain foods you would look to avoid. It could be nightshades, so your potatoes, peppers, tomatoes. It could be dairy, it could be eggs. It just depends on what's going to work for you through your elimination diet. We're just going to talk about lymph for a moment. So lymph is pretty much underutilized by Western medicine. So there's two circulatory systems in the body. You've got your blood that circulates through the body, but you also have your lymph system that circulates through the body. The difference is your blood system has pumps. So if you go and try and test for your pulse somewhere, you'll feel a pulse because there's a pumping action within the bloodstream. Okay? And that's what helps to push blood around the body. The problem with your lymph system is there is no pump. It's physical movement that gets lymph moving throughout your body. And unfortunately, for the majority of people, we sit on our behinds for the majority of the day. So there's no movement there, there's no pump action, and your lymph nodes become stagnant, can get blocked.